Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So today you'll see an excerpt from my podcast where we discussed last night the brand new Superman casting. Now, again, I don't really talk about the podcast massively on this channel. It has its own channel, Mistake Reviews Live Archives. But because we went into pretty deep detail, chit-chatting backwards and forwards about the brand new, and it is confirmed, Superman casting, Corin Sweat and the Lois Lane one as well. I thought I would share it. So if you didn't know, well, one, watch the excerpt and I hope you enjoy it. But I run a podcast every Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesdays 9 p.m. UK time and Thursdays 7 p.m. UK time. And it has its own channel, Mistakes Reviews Live Archives, which you can find linked down below in the description box. So there you go. Here's the excerpt from the podcast where we discuss the new Superman. We're going to move on to our next topic because one of our super chats works into it, right? Our next topic is what a lot of people have been wanting us to talk about. And it is the fact that this is now confirmed. Superman Legacy. James Gunn taps David Corin Sweat, and Rachel Brosnahan for Clark Kent and Lois Lane in DC Studios film. Now, this is actually confirmed. James Gunn has confirmed this over on Twitter.
Yes.
So this is 100% confirmed. But what this ties into with Super Chat is this one. So the Skarsgård brothers, Alexander and Bill, are both on the shortlist for Luthor. Great choices, but I still wish it was Billy Zane or Mark Strong. Now, I don't think Mark Strong should do it, to be honest. I think he's been sort of typecast as that. I like him in comedic roles. Billy Zane, maybe. Skarsgård brothers, in comparison to these people, what do we think?
Let's talk about here's the thing. I think there's a wild card here. I think there's a wild card in this mix. And we were talking about this the other night. Because Renfield, what's his name? Nicholas Hoult.
Oh, yeah, he's good, yeah.
He put himself in the running for Superman, but we had heard that he was initially being looked at for Luthor. So that I wonder if he's kind of in the same kind of a league as the Skarsgård. So I wonder if he's might not be a wild card in this mix. But yeah, the two Skarsgård brothers are being looked at otherwise, is what we've heard.
They both have different looks too.
Yeah, well, going on to this, because these are people I've never really even heard of before. So Warner Brothers and DC Studios have the new Clark Kent and Lois Lane. David Corin Sweat has been set to play Superman, while Rachel Brosnahan are on board to play Lois Lane. The decision comes after the two were among the few selected to test in front of DC co-chairs Peter Safran and James Gunn in full costume and makeup for the parts. So they took it pretty bloody seriously then. The test took place over 2 days with the men, one of which were with the three actors in full Superman attire. Sources close to the situation said that each actor had closed test deals that would expire after 2 business weeks. So clearly all parties wanted this sorted out before the potential SAG-AFTRA strike, which could go into effect at midnight on June 30th. So they were smart there.
Yeah.
So Warner Brothers has yet to say whether or not they will be attending this year's Comic-Con in San Diego. That's true, actually. But basically, I mean, so who are they? So the blah, 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 blah. So I don't know who these people are. So Corin Sweat, that'd be his first major leading role in a major studio film, having previously appeared in projects like Pearl. He was in Pearl? Okay. The Politician and We Own This City. From the start, his name has floated to the top, and following that final audition, sealed the deal on the biggest role of his career thus far. Brosnan is coming off a final season of a career-making role in Amazon's The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which has earned a number of accolades, including an Emmy win. It's also been at the top of the list of women play Lois Lane, following what many have described as the best audition of the process.
And
so what do we think? What do we think? I mean, look, he's got the jawline.
I like this casting. I'll be honest with you.
How old is he though? Because they wanted a young Superman.
20. Well, that's the thing, is they were looking for early years Superman, which would be technically 30s. Let me see here.
Yeah, Brosnahan's 32 years old. She's also the niece of the handbag designer.
He's
Kate
29.
Kate Spade, who self-deleted just a few years ago.
So these are basically the right age. They're almost the same age, roughly, a little bit older actually than Christopher Reeve and Margot Kidder were when they took on the roles. Because Chris, I believe, was 24 when he was cast, and Margot, I believe, was 27. So, and you kind of, there's nothing wrong with having a little bit more older Lois Lane, because she has to be a bit more assertive.
Yes,
because we were talking about this last night. Like the best Lois Lanes we've ever had have been, the ones that got her the best have been like beyond the animated versions where, Margot and what's her face from the '90s show, Terry Hatcher. And in some cases, you might even argue that Terry probably did it the best. And I see a lot of this here, and a lot of people have compared her to his Girl Friday kind of actress, to where I think she can pull this off. And because that's the whole thing. Lois is not like a girl boss, but she's a very strong feminine character in a sense that she's independent.
Yeah,
she dismisses Clark and every other guy in her life because she don't need them. She can do what she needs to do without anybody else. But Superman's a different story, right? Superman's one of the only guys that she can kind of look up to and want to impress because he's different, and it's so much out of any league of any other man, right? And that also adds to the credence of how she can be around Clark and not see that they're the same person, because she's pretty much ignoring Clark in that sense.
I mean, I think this is a bad photo of this Corn Sweat guy. Like,
it is, because I've seen better photos of him.
It's quite muted. Like, lots of people are saying, "Oh, I don't see him as Superman," etc. I think it's the light. I think the lighting on his face, and sort of, because Superman's got like a bit of a twinkle in his eye, and this is quite muted, and I think that's probably part of it. And also, you got to remember he's rocking that 5 o'clock shadow. That'll all be gone as well. I mean, I don't really know anything about these people, though. To be fair, like
I'm in the same boat.
Upon looks, he's got, strong enough jawline, I guess.
Of the three, that he was the best as far as I'm concerned, look wise.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, how big is he? What's the musculature on the chap?
Let me take a look.
Because that matters. I mean, the thing is, he might just be in a muscle suit and stuff.
6'4".
Oh wow. Okay.
Well, that's you want a statuesque bloke to play Superman. That sort of works there as well.
Yeah, he's a big dude. He'll be working out for the next few months, I guarantee you.
Oh, there you go. They changed the photo.
Wow.
Oh, really?
They're listening to the stream.
That was amazing.
The photo.
That was probably his people who went out there and said, "We don't want that photo. We want this one."
Yeah.
That's so literally someone said Magitech Mags said if you refresh the page, I think there's
well, thank you, Mags.
I see a different one. Thank you so much. Mags? I mean,
nice catch.
So this, with the curls of the last one, I'd say is about right for a Superman-esque Clark Kent sort of character, I'd say.
Yeah. Look wise, I think he's got it. I have not seen him in anything, which is fine with me, because I like that idea. I want to go in not knowing this actor at all.
That is absolutely hilarious. I'm like, it's not
live,
very good photo.
They really picked a picture of her that kind of washes out her complexion, because she's got
an awful photo.
Yeah, she's got a really nice complexion and olive kinds of skin. But she did a brilliant job in The Marvelous Miss Maisel. She was very talented. And she does come from a moneyed family, but in an interesting.
And path. I haven't seen that, but from what I've heard about that show, that's where I think she might.
She got it. She got it.
A shoe-in.
Yeah, it was a shoe-in. There wasn't going to be a better Lois Lane at once.
Honestly, okay. And here's some inside track business. This is what I had heard. She was the definite from the start.
Yeah, that didn't surprise me.
In fact, I had heard that it was up to her to lose the role.
Wow.
In fact, that's what I was told from an inside source, that she basically they were hoping that, she was going to say yes. It was more like they were going after her, not the other way around.
Yeah. And Nikki is also correct. She was also genius in House of Cards on Netflix.
Right.
Her performances, every time I've seen her, I've been impressed. So I think she's got the chops. I just hope she gets a script, which means I hope he gets a script, which means I hope the film is good.
That just tells me that probably Gunn had her in mind to begin with, from what I had been hearing. I could be wrong on that.
Around her type
exactly
thing,
my point. Like, he may have watched Miss Maisel and been like, "This is my Lois Lane."
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. I mean, I don't think he's the best person for the job for writing a Superman film. Personally, I've said that many times. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, you can cast the right people, but unless you write them well enough, it doesn't matter.
I don't know. I think people.
You don't know. That's a pretty obvious statement, Tom. Come on now.
I think James Gunn is the right person to be writing a Superman movie.
Yeah, do you think?
Yeah, because really? I mean, especially if you watch like the original Donner Superman the movie, there's a lot of humor and other elements that people forget about, and I don't mean like, stupid humor either. I mean just like that comes out of the characters, and that's what Gunn does best is characters, and that's what we love about Superman. Everybody knows these characters. Everybody knows them. I mean, everybody knows who Jimmy Olsen is. Everybody knows who Lois Lane is. Everybody knows who Lex Luthor is. Everybody knows who Perry White is. Like, everybody knows them. I don't even have to name the main characters yet. I haven't even got to Clark Kent and Mon Pa and all that kind of stuff. Right. Yeah, and Kal-El and all that. Jor-El and blah, 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 blah. So I think that this is going to be his shoe. And now Batman and stuff down the road, I'm more worried about. He's got Andy Muschietti working on that now. We'll see if that comes around, but I'm not so sure that's the guy you want on a Batman movie.
No, I don't think so either.
Tom, I was just going to say, with James Gunn being involved, I'm sure he's going to probably try bringing some of his friends and stuff.
Absolutely.
I heard that they're going to go for a very different version of Lex Luthor and Michael, what's his name? Starts
Michael
with an R. Yeah, him. Bradley Cooper and Batista were rumored to be looking at playing that Lex Luthor role in this film also, because they said they're going to be going for a very different Lex Luthor than what you've normally seen.
What it looks like they're looking at is more of the Skarsgård Nicholas Hoult type, which would kind of be the more darker but yet dangerously sexy version of Lex Luthor, I guess. So it could be a love triangle situation, because that's kind of what the 90s show kind of emulated towards, was that version of Lex Luthor. I can't remember the actor's name, but they played him off as more of the philanthropist or whatever you want to call it, to where he was dashing and debonair and always was kind of a bit of a distraction for Lois between the whole Lois and Clark thing. But
I heard they were wanting a more physical Lex Luthor that looked more menacing and could really take on Superman.
I don't know how big the Skarsgård boys are, but I'll tell you what, Nicholas Hoult is a lot bigger than I thought he was, especially after seeing Renfield.
I still have not seen that. I need to watch that.
That's a good film.
It is. It's just pure fun, especially if you're a fan of the old Universal Dracula and you like this page.
I'm of a different opinion.
I know. Well, let's not digress too much.
All right.